Good afternoon, everyone. For the one dialing from the UAE and this part of the world, good morning in the Americas and good evening to our Asian listener. So welcome back to our series of webinars, where today we'll be talking about St. Lucia, and also have the pleasure of having Nestor Alfred with us, the head of the Citizenship by Investment Unit. But before that, we will be having a short introduction about our company. So Reef Trust, we are headquartered in Dubai. We're part of the Latitude Group. We have more than 17 offices globally with more than 80 professionals and growing. So we've helped more than 1,300 high net worth individuals over the last 8 years. And we not only have a B2C team, we're not only marketing this product, but we also have our government advisory team that advise government to implement and design these new programs. In addition to that, we also have our B2B platform that's helping our partners in these offerings. We are very proud to be one of the very few companies that is international marketing agent in all of the programs that we are offering, from the Caribbean, Europe to Vanuatu. And also we are the IMC representative office in the Caribbean. IMC is like the Investment Migration Council, and it's the body that regulates our industry. So for some of you, you're familiar already with some of the slides because we've presented them before. I will not go into details, but the first reason obviously is the mobilities, the visa-free access, our customer to be able to travel more freely. And then it goes also obviously for a plan B for an individual or his family or education, business, and it can go up to tax residency that we've seen been implemented recently. So we have citizenship by investment. Citizenship by investment, basically their second passport. So somebody who wants to acquire second citizenship for an individual or the family. And we have what we call residency by investment. Residency by investment, they are golden visa. And we've seen the implementation mainly in Europe, Portugal, Greece, Malta, for example, just to name a few of them. And the last one where, for example, we established the tax residency in Anguilla, and more countries are looking at tax residency. Now, if we talk about St. Lucia gives access to 147 countries, including the UK, Schengen, Hong Kong, Singapore. It's part of the Commonwealth. And like the other Caribbean countries, it's a vertical inclusion where husband, wife, and the kids can be included below a certain age. And also there's been the parents and the grandparents also. And recently some of the changes, the unmarried siblings of the main applicant can be included. It's good to know that there's no personal tax or a global taxation on St. Lucia and for the other Caribbean countries. Now, if we talk about the different options, we have the donation option. So the donation varies between a single and a families. So we will assist you and to give you the best quotations for you and your family for donation. There's the real estate option where it's an investment $300,000, a qualified investment, and we'll be talking further with Nestor regarding these options. And the last option that have been decreased because of the COVID is what we call the COVID Relief Fund, and it's an investment amount between $250,000 to $300,000, depending on the maturity that you're holding the bond for. And today we will be also discussing there's a new loan arrangement that we'll be discussing further with Nestor, and this is a new option that allows our clients to have a better pricing regarding for themselves, for their families. Regarding the process, so it's I would say it's a 5-month process, like all the other Caribbeans, where we listen to you, we identify which one would be like the best program for you and your family, and we run our initial due diligence checks. Then after, with our team, our processing team here on the ground and globally, we will be able to gather all of the documents where we submit it, and this is hassle-free for you and your family. We have like the full middle and back office that's supporting you and making it very seamless process. Then after 90 days, usually the approvals come, and this is where the final investment amount is paid. And we receive your citizenship, certificate of naturalization, and passport, and it's wherever you have collected here in our offices or in the office that we have globally, or we did DHL them to you. So this is like the process. And now we will be welcoming Nestor Alfred for further discussion regarding the programs and also some Q&As. So without further delay, let's welcome Nestor Alfred. Good morning to you, dear Nestor. It's always a pleasure to see you and have you with us here today. So welcome and thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much, Mimon, and it's always a pleasure seeing you and speaking with you. And I'm hoping that our discourse can be very beneficial to all our potential applicants and viewers.
No, I mean, that's we've had a lot of registration, and a lot of our clients and also partners are eager to hear what are the updates from St. Lucia. So, I mean, first of all, I'd like to obviously, as I did an introduction regarding our company and our group, I'd like you to ask you what kind of benefit companies like ours have brought to St. Lucia, and how our cooperation have grown, I would say.
Great. Thank you very much for this, Mimon, and good morning to all our viewers. Look, companies like yours, which we term as international promoters, are very vital for the Citizenship by Investment program in St. Lucia, and I suspect for the rest of the islands, because you are based in Dubai and you have offices all over the globe. And that is so very important in reaching out to the many potential applicants who may be interested in pursuing St. Lucia citizenship. So our relationship has been one that started from the inception of the program. I've always had very interesting discussions and open and frank discussions with you and your partner, David. And I think you have always demonstrated that you have a genuine interest in this island. And you also have demonstrated that you are very much committed to driving numbers in St. Lucia. And for that, I'm very thankful for. And I'm hoping that that type of relationship and openness and frankness is one that can continue. So in regard to Reef and Latitude's relationship with St. Lucia, I can safely say that it is a very open relationship. It's a very good relationship. And I'm very always so happy to be chatting with you and seeing how we can drive even greater numbers. So that relationship, I can safely say, has been a very good one.
Yeah, thank you, Nestor, for that. Let's jump in. I mean, because obviously our viewers would like to understand the difference between St. Lucia and the other programs. So, what set St. Lucia program apart from the other islands? If you can let us know.
You know, sometime before we talk about differences, we're always going to talk about the similarities that we share. And you know that our similarities are huge in the sense that we share so many common things among the islands. But the question is, what differentiates us? For St. Lucia, I think I can start out by saying we do not offer a commodity. We offer high value proposition, high value investment to our numerous applicants. And we ensure that the return on that investment that is made by those applicants are sustainable and that they can offer a high return. What do we mean by this? What we mean by this is that we undertake some rigorous due diligence process to protect the integrity of that passport, which is issued to that applicant at the end of the process. And we want to ensure that those applicants have access to those visa-free countries that we told them that they have access to, not just for today, but for tomorrow and for many more years to come. And I believe that this is what distinguishes St. Lucia. is that we don't see this as a commodity. We see this as a high valued investment that has been offered. And also we spend no effort in ensuring that that return on that investment is maintained for many years to come.
No, I mean, that's very a good point that you are making. We've seen since the COVID started some of the changes into the programs, and also we've seen some changes in St. Lucia. So if you can tell us how the COVID has impacted the submission, the processing times, and what are the changes that you've seen since COVID?
I must say to you, Mimon, that COVID has been one of the most destabilizing events that we have seen since World War II. And it has impacted on every single aspect of life. Mm-hmm. We all can relate to this. But in every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. And for St. Lucia, COVID-19 brought some amazing success for St. Lucia's Citizenship by Investment program. Our numbers have been phenomenal. The numbers have been increased by over 100%. And obviously it means that the government of St. Lucia would be receiving within its coffers a lot more dollar revenue. So it underscores the fact that those programs that have been offered, what St. Lucia is offering, is one that allows persons to have international mobility. Mm-hmm. And that concept of international mobility does surely show, COVID has surely shown that it never erases, irrespective of what is being faced. Persons want the ability to move, and they want to move when required.
No, definitely. I mean, and just while we're here, and definitely we've been following up what yourself and the government have done during the COVID, and to see like the involvement, even the PM himself is personally involved, and I would say like your government has managed this COVID situation pretty well, and also that has brought some opportunities. And talking about this COVID, because there's been a new COVID relief bond, if you can tell us a little bit more about the bond option that has been amended in St. Lucia.
I always refer, and there's an article that was put forward recently where I made a comment about the COVID-19 bond. And I refer to the COVID-19 bond as one of the most socially responsible investment that we have seen within the migration world. St. Lucia, like the rest of the world, has suffered or is suffering tremendously from COVID. Its economy has taken a significant blow. There's high levels of unemployment. There's high levels of uncertainty for individuals. And the government decided to make this special offering via a bond issue. And essentially, the focus of that bond issue was to really refinance government short-term debt instruments that exist on the market. And it is one of the surest ways in which government can raise much needed revenue at this time, what I call free capital. And therefore, this bond runs over a time period of 5, 6 or 7 years. And the bond is at values of $250,000 and to as high as $300,000 US dollars. The $300,000 US dollars is $300,000 USD dollars face value is for a 5-year holding bond. The 6-year holding bond is where one is applying up to 4 qualifying dependents. And where one is applying singly, it is $250,000 USD dollars at a time. So there's a holding time period with a bond value coupled with the category of the applicant, i.e. whether they're applying by themselves or with a family of 4 qualifying dependents.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've presented like the different options before in the previous slides regarding the different possibility of investment, the bond being one of them. There's like also the donation, which is very competitive for single and also for families. And there's also the real estate option, I would say. I mean, we'll go slowly after into the real estate, but one which is, I would say, it's a position regarding a loan arrangement between the developer and the client. If you can elaborate a little bit on this option, and how is this beneficial to some of the clients interested to look at this option?
The real estate option is a very viable option for any country because it impacts immediately or significantly on a country's GDP. St. Lucia does not have any policies, position or statement on the issue of loan financing when it comes to the real estate. It is my view that loan financing is a private arrangement. What I can say to you is that we have a well-accounted framework to deal with the issue of the real estate. And therefore, if the investment amount, in the case of St. Lucia, is $300,000 US investment amount, we would expect to see this $300,000 USD amount going into our escrow account. So therefore, if there is a financing arrangement behind closed doors to which we are not interested in knowing, our primary focus is that we can account for the source of that fund, and that money can be accounted for within the escrow account.
No, I mean, you said it, and we had also some discussion with other head of CIUs, and it's also their policies. So it's something that is beneficial for both the CIU, the real estate developer, and obviously the client. So it's thanks for these clarifications. Now, if we talk about the real estate development, if you can tell us more about like the real estate development available right now in St. Lucia. I think there's only one that is currently approved, and also what are the projects that are in the pipeline and coming to the island?
We have two government-approved real estates under the Citizenship by Investment program. One is by the Galaxy Group. It's called Kenner's Resort, with about 721 rooms, located in one of the pristine areas of St. Lucia. It's an amazing, visually appealing location. And the second one is offered by Royal Crescentia, which is a 252-room hotel. But this hotel has a specific focus. There is a catering, or I should say a tourism school that's going to be based within this hotel. And it's going to be catering for young persons to come into St. Lucia. Preferably, I think the target market is Asia, for those young persons to come in, be trained in the area of tourism, live within the hotel confines, and therefore have a more secure place for location. So essentially, these are the only two approved government real estate projects that are open for investment in St. Lucia. You know, the issue of real estate development is something that St. Lucia guards very securely. We want to make sure that we do this right. There are other offers that have been made. There are investors, developers, sorry, who are looking into the real estate project of St. Lucia, and we are considering them. But at this stage, this is all that we have open for investment. Yes, really.
Okay, no, that's definitely we've seen the threshold at $300,000, and other island, most of them brought it to 200. Any action in the future to decrease that price to 200 like the other island, or you think it's going to stay at 300 level?
You know, I'm not the great supporters of speaking about price reductions.
Okay.
But I believe the program has to be competitive. I believe the program has to offer value to our many potential applicants. And therefore, I would like to, I prefer speaking on the issue of value to our potential applicants. And no, there has been no discussion at this point in time and reducing this, but there has been discussions in regard to looking at this and determining whether it presents significant value for our potential applicants.
In terms of the regulation, how the regulation have affected the program cost structure?
You know, I can tell you the amendments that we made to the regulations, and I suspect you would have shown it on previous slides, expanding the definition of qualifying dependents, allowing for persons to add on the newborns and the qualifying dependents are some of the fundamental changes that we have made. And since making those amendments, I think it has been very instrumental in regard to the increases of applications that we have received over time and right now. So I think those crucial amendments that we've made in 2020 has really done well for St. Lucia.
Yes, you touched upon earlier due diligence. So if you can come back to that and let us know a little bit about the overview of the due diligence process that you're applying in St. Lucia.
You know, Momon, I spoke about the fact that we're offering a high value proposition to applicants, that we are offering a high value investment product that will ensure that there is a adequate return on the investment and sustaining return on the investment. And the heart of this is really centered on the due diligence process. It's my view that the due diligence, rigorous due diligence, is at the cornerstone of the viability of those programs within the region. And St. Lucia safeguards this tremendously. And our due diligence process, as you would know, undertakes various stages, but the two primary stages of the due diligence process involves the hiring of a third-party due diligence firm to allow us to get to know those persons a lot more. And the second more important pillar of our due diligence process is the undertaking of the intelligence, the gathering of intelligence information on an individual. So yes, I think due diligence is the cornerstone of our entire citizenship by investment program.
No, diligence, yes, talking about that, and also because we've seen, I would say, an increase in the processing time also that, interesting and important for our listener, how that affected during the COVID. You've seen an increase in the processing time because like on some of the files, we've seen like a response given in 60 to 90 days. So which was where some of our clients were very surprised to receive a response so quickly. So that was a good job from the unit and also on the due diligence side. So if you can elaborate also on this.
Yes, thank you. You know, prior to COVID, we had seen some marked improvement in our response to the grant of citizenship, and I can safely say that the average processing time is somewhere around 56 days. That does not say that there are instances where an application would go beyond 56 days, but that's the average processing time, and I think we've done really good on processing our application in a timely manner. And I think that in itself has contributed to the increased numbers that we are seeing. And persons like yourself have seen that improved processing time. So yes, it has played a very important role in our numbers.
No, definitely, that's good. You've done some changes recently regarding the sibling and to the main applicant. So for those who already have the St. Lucia passport, can it be retroactive and adding their siblings into in the main applicant? Or is it something that you are considering?
The provision that we made allows a dependent or a citizen to apply for citizenship, irrespective of which investment option that they may choose. It could be real estate, it could be National Economic Fund, which you call donation, it could be the enterprise project, or it could be bonds. It's something that we never had before. There's no longer that kind of discrimination in regard to the fact that add-on can only be given to National Economic Fund applicants. And secondly is that the add-on can, in the case of a newborn, you can bring that newborn at any stage of or prior to the grant of your citizenship. However, if there's a qualifying dependent post your citizenship, there's a 5-year period by which you need to add this person on. So thereafter, the add-on option is applicable to all qualifying dependent, irrespective.
Okay, that's and we discussed that because we had a client, remember, in Dubai, and for newborn. Is there some discussion regarding amending the newborn cost? Also, that's and you know it. I'm sure some other us and other, I would say, agent, mentioned that to you, because the cost of adding a newborn is pretty high compared to the others. And I know that you've been looking at that for some time, try to be competitive with the rest. Is it something that we can expect also for this year?
Well, a newborn is we made some significant changes in the pricing. It's only $500 to add on newborn.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, no, that's.
So we've made some amendments to this.
Okay, no, that's because that was something that some of our clients in the past were complaining, and again, this shows like I would say, how you listen to the market and how you do the adjustment when it's required. So we are very pleased for that. Now, in terms what here in this part of the world, if I can ask, and obviously I think the Minister of Foreign Affairs would be better placed to have that, but there's consulate and embassy of certain of the other countries that we have here. Any discussion of having a consulate or an embassy here in the UAE or in this part of the world, at least to serve the clients that are here?
Post pre-COVID, we were in the middle of having a discussion. We already identified an individual who would pursue that particular route for us. But with COVID onslaught, all of this came to a halt. But it is something that the government of St. Lucia will look into very seriously. As soon as there is some normalcy to the world, we will be looking into it.
No, that's and again that because the closest one, I was in the Eastern Caribbean embassy in December, and you have one in Morocco, Rabat, which is covering all of Africa. And for our clients in this part of the world, it's important for them, obviously, for renew the passport or adding newborn and all of its consulary services. So it's something that compared to the other that will be important. So do you think like in the next 2 to 3 years we'll have something?
As you rightly stated, it's not within my control, but I think the government is considering this very seriously, and I suspect that it is something that we should see it happening pretty soon when there is some level of normalcy in the world.
Okay. Thanks for that. Let's stay also in the number, because access to 147 countries. Any other country that you are aware that the government is looking at for visa-free access? That some news that you can give us about like the visa-free access or any other, I would say, news in that matters?
I don't have good news for you on this matter, but I think with 146 countries, there's always discussion taking place within the Ministry of Home Affairs and various countries around the world. But at this stage, they have not advised us of any other visa-free country coming on board. But it's something that we engage the Ministry of Home Affairs now and then. Okay.
No, thank you for that. Also, now we went through like the programs and all of the progress. If we can ask you some of the question related to the CAU that has an interest for our listeners, what would be like the top nationalities that are applying for St. Lucia?
Well, the top nationality are the Chinese, and then come the Middle Easterns. So these are the top two.
Top two, Middle Eastern, yeah. And from Africa, what was have you seen an increase from Africa also?
A phenomenal increase, but obviously they have not surpassed that of the Chinese or Middle Eastern. No. But we have seen it's very interesting. Our numbers in Nigeria are increasing, and the caliber of persons is quite interesting as well. A number of young aspiring executives and therefore I believe that means very well in regard to growth going forward.
Okay, very good on that. Also, if you can give us an idea of the number of application, real estate versus donation versus government bond, what is the proportion?
Donation leads the way by significant percentage, over 70% of applications granted. And in total, we've granted for the 5 years. In fact, coincidentally, Mimoun, December of 2020 was what we celebrated 5 years since we've been in this business. And of course, unfortunately, COVID has really dampened the spirit of celebration. But so far, we've granted about 826 citizenships to persons around the world. And National Economic Fund represents roughly about 79 or 80% of this.
Okay, that's, yeah, these are all private. And if you can tell us, like, just to have an idea about the ratio of application refused in all of that, we're talking.
Very negligible. It's about 0.004%. So it's nothing to talk about when you look at percentages. So yeah, so it's nothing really significant.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I mean, we still think we still have like another couple of minutes, 5 minutes. If there is a final, I mean, before that, obviously, I would like to personally thank you at the beginning for regarding all of the kind word, and obviously we enjoyed our working relationship since the beginning, since the program of St. Lucia. We've participated in discussion with yourself, with the government in the past regarding on thinking, for example, of this COVID relief fund. It's part of our government advisory. So we are very close to the St. Lucia government and to the government. So we'd like to on behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you, yourself, the CIU, the government, in all of the trust and all of the work that we've done in the past. If you can tell us what are the development, for St. Lucia, if you can, and brought that not only to the CIU. I think there's election this year. If you can give us what is the outcome for the next 5 years, and any final message that you would like to convey to our listener.
Great. Mimoun, we have spent quite a bit of financial resources and time on ensuring that the program runs efficiently. That's our primary objective for us. And what have we done to do this? We have introduced the first ever homegrown e-payment platform. So persons can now make the payments, not just the processing fee or due diligence, but even the investment amount via the use of the credit cards or the debit cards. So one does not need to go to a bank. One can stay right at home before the screen and make payments towards St. Lucia Citizenship. And all of this is part of the process for improving our level of efficiency. As you know, the region has been dealing with the de-risking issues that has befallen on financial institutions and banks. And therefore banks are not very receptive or embracing in pursuing CIP business, because they see it as being high risk. Because of St. Lucia's focus on due diligence and ensuring that it offers a high valued investment product to its potential applicants, St. Lucia has been the only island to have obtained a second banking relationship within its confines, its domestic space. So we now have 2 banks that are working with St. Lucia in regard to the citizenship by investment programs, and applicants have the option of going to either of those banks or using the e-payment platform. We've also recognized that there's one element within the processing platform that leads to the extended time period for the grant of citizenship, and that is the intelligence information. And St. Lucia has said, we have found a way to deal with this. And what we are saying is that we've created a separate module to jumpstart the law enforcement intelligence component of the processing platform. And therefore, what we ask persons to do is to submit 3 primary documents to allow us to start this process. And that has helped us tremendously. St. Lucia has recently hired a new marketing director, one that is focused essentially on creating an awareness of this program among our various countries and potential applicants. Mm. We have also introduced a new web page, one that is very interactive, very educational, and provides potential applicants with all the information that they can possibly want or need in regard to understanding this program. So we've spent a lot of time in looking at the efficiency platform, the processing platform. And I can say to you, Mimon, that our plans going forward is to again continuously improving that efficiency, engaging persons like yourself in seeing, or the market, in understanding some of the fundamental changes that we can make in the program, those changes that can ensure that our numbers are sustainable. I'm not a great supporter of just looking at the issue of pricing and reducing pricing, but I'm a great supporter of having a program that is viable, that is sustainable, and more importantly, a program that is responsible.
No, thank you for that. I mean, Nestor, and obviously, thank you for the great session today also. So it's time to wrap up. Thanks for your final comments. And I will finish and I will let you the final word for the end. And again, it was a great session regarding and to learn more about all of the programs and the changes that you brought. I'm sure our listener would find it interesting. On behalf of the board, we'd like to thank you so much for your time. It's a great pleasure having you, and I look forward to seeing you. I mean, last time was in St. Kitts, I think 2 years ago, for the investment, and supposed to happen in St. Lucia last year. We missed it, and hopefully we'll gather soon in St. Lucia. So thank you so much. I will leave the final word to you, and again, we're looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, Nestor.
Thank you very much, Mimon. And thank you very much, viewers, for listening into this program. I hope you'd have gotten something out of what St. Lucia has to offer. And what St. Lucia has to offer is a very high value proposition, very high value investment options for the grant of citizenship. I want to thank you, Mimon. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for even your own marketing efforts in putting together this webinar and ensuring that this is viewed by all. And I want to let you know that that relationship is not taken for granted. We really do value your relationship and your company's relationship. So I want to say thank you very much for this opportunity, and hopefully we'll see each other pretty soon.
Thank you, Nestor. Thank you.